Disclaimer, even though this video goes over 10 of the most hated games on Roblox, please do not send hate to any of the developers or the games itself. Adopt Me is a role-playing game developed by Uplift Games that originally started with adopting and raising other players. Yeah, pets weren't actually added until 2019. Pets were widely loved by the community because of how interactive they were, and how you would go about hatching and raising them. The game was really popular with young children because they loved the bright colors and highly animated pets, so the game built a reputation for being a harmless kids game. Occasionally, Adopt Me would have special events with limited time eggs. These limited time eggs made the pets inside of them really rare for when an event would finish, since they would become unobtainable. Adopt Me's problems began in their trading update. The trading update opened the door to a large amount of scams, and players would do anything to get the rare pets. One of the most popular scams was a trust trade, where a player would give another player their pet and trust the other player to give them something in return. This scam was very popular since the player base of this game was young children who didn't know any better. Unobtainable pets made the game even worse, since kids were now buying them from off-platform websites. Adopt Me's reputation became even worse when their updates would garner large amounts of players and it started crashing Roblox's servers. This prevented people from playing their favorite game and caused a lot of them to blame Adopt Me. Today, Adopt Me is known as more of a trading game and has lost its identity as a simple role-playing game. Real quick, if you like straight to the point content all around Roblox in bite-sized explanations, make sure you subscribe to the channel as we cover topics just like this every so often. The Pet Simulator franchise started from very humble beginnings with Pet Simulator in 2018. Pet Simulator is a simulator where players buy pets to break coins, then use those pets to buy more pets. The game was very simple and widely beloved by many players. It also created the genre of pet-based simulator games. Pet Simulator was pay to win, but it wasn't extreme and unfair as the later installments. The game is also notorious for having a game pass that costed 40,000 Robux, which is pretty much $400. Pet Simulator had a peak player count of 56,000 players and won 2 Blox Awards in 2018. In 2019, Big Games released the sequel to Pet Simulator, Pet Simulator 2. Pet Simulator X was the most popular Pet Simulator game in the entire franchise. Its peak concurrent player count was 1.4 million players. However, that's where all the good things slowly came to an end according to the Roblox community. Pet Simulator X was far more pay to win than Pet Simulator. It started a trend in all simulator games where players would have to gamble large amounts of Robux for an advantage. Big Games also added NFTs to the game even though it was against Roblox's terms of service. They also added exclusive pets that you can get as a bonus for buying diamonds. Now, since exclusive eggs already existed, that wouldn't be a problem, except for the fact that exclusive eggs were 400 Robux, and the diamond bundle with the exclusive pets costed 3,370 Robux, and the best pet was only a 1% chance. Titanic pets were also added, and they were by far the best pets in the game. However, they were a 0.05% chance of getting per exclusive egg. So in theory, it would take over 800,000 Robux or 8,000 for not even a guaranteed chance at a Titanic. The game became known as the most pay-to-win game on Roblox at the time. Oh, and also at one point there was a Skibidi toilet pet. I don't know if I should include that, but there you go. So with the death of 3 Pet Simulator games, surely Pet Simulator X would be the last one, right? Well, that wasn't the case because Pet Simulator 99 was created and it released and peaked at over 700,000 players. There was a lot more content added to make sure players didn't get bored, and players from Pet Simulator X got to transfer all of their exclusive pets to this game. A lot of players noticed a pattern in all of the Pet Simulator games where more content meant more pay-to-win features. For example, the Forever Pass. It's a never-ending list of items that are mostly only obtainable through Robux. One item costs Robux, then the next 3 are free, and the next one costs Robux, but you can't see what it is until you buy the first. And the items get more expensive the better they are. The game has been at a slow decline ever since it was released, and it is just as pay-to-win as Pet Simulator X. The newest game in the Pet Simulator franchise is Pets Go, and it was released in 2024. It's a combination of Pet Simulator 99 and Souls RNG, which based on the Roblox community's previous opinions on both games, was a terrible combination. In Pets Go, you roll for pets and you get coins depending on what you roll. There are also coins you break to get more coins. Immediately, the Roblox community saw a new pay-to-win feature. This time with a developer product where your luck doubles every time you buy the luck pass, but the price also doubles, and you can only have that luck for 12 hours before you can buy it again. This game also has a Forever Pack. The pay-to-win aspects combined with the RNG aspects makes this game a good contender for the most hated Pet Simulator game. Blade Ball is a deflect style game where players use their swords to hit the ball and pass it on to a different player. The ball gets faster every time it is hit by another player, and it does not slow back down until a player is killed. The concept of Blade Ball goes all the way back to Team Fortress 2 with Pyro Ball. There are also various abilities players can use to try and gain an advantage over the other players. The game's casual gameplay and replayability made it very popular. The game was also very popular on social media, especially when players would clash. Clashing is when players deflect the ball towards each other and closing the distance, increasing the speed of the ball until one of the players gets eliminated. The game peaked at over 500,000 players, but it wasn't long before the game slowly started to lose a lot of players. The downfall of Blade Ball is mostly due to the players' opinions on the developers changing to be more negative. Originally, the most pay-to-win thing in the game was the sword and explosion skins. However, as Blade Ball increased in players, the players noticed the developers got more and more greedy and tried to call them out for it. Unfortunately, things only got worse for the game when Infinity was added. Infinity gave the player a huge advantage over all the other players, and it was only obtainable through Robux. The game also became filled with players who use auto-clickers to win clashes, making clashes more annoying instead of fun. Even with all these problems, the game still had a large amount of players, but then the game added Robux spinning wheels, and not the cheap ones either. The Robux spinning wheels were so expensive that the game was compared to Pet Simulator X in terms of pay-to-win content. The developers stopped making free skins, and the free abilities couldn't counter any of the Robux ones. Part of the reason why Blade Ball was so loved originally was because it was skill-based and everyone had the same chance to win. Now, if you don't have any of the Robux only abilities, it's practically impossible to counter them. Blox Fruits. Okay, I know a lot of you guys might have clicked on this video thinking I'm here to bash on Blox Fruits, but I'm simply stating what the Roblox community is saying about the game and not my personal opinion. So before you click the dislike button on this video, please give it a watch or click off since I am not giving my opinion on this game. Blox Fruits is a One Piece style RPG game. It's also the most popular game on Roblox right now, peaking at 2.8 million concurrent players. So you're probably wondering, how is this game one of the most hated games on Roblox if it has so many concurrent players? Well, Blox Fruits didn't actually have a bad reputation until 2023 when they released Update 20. This update was insanely hyped up by the developers who promised a lot of content. Players also had to wait a whole year for the update. One of the biggest things advertised was the reworked first and second Cs, and when the update dropped, they didn't change. Players trusted the developers and waited for the Update 20 Part 2 for them to add it, and they still weren't. Players also wanted to see the Dragon and Control rework, two things that were teased prior to Update 20, but they also didn't release. The Dragon update didn't release until an entire year later, and players are still waiting for Control. After Update 20, the community turned on the developers and called them lazy, and many of them didn't think the update was worth waiting a whole year for. They tried to confront the developers' constant false promises, but nothing changed. During the Dragon update in 2024, Blox Fruits reworked Dragon, but took away everyone's dragons, including people who bought Permanent Dragon, which costed 2,600 Robux or $25. People who had the previous Permanent Dragon got a discount and it costed 2,600 Robux, which when added to the old Dragon price is 5,200 Robux or around $50. The developers also neglected to tell people their old dragons would be deleted. Now they did end up resolving it by giving people their dragon back, however it took them 2 days to resolve the issue. The problem with that is, a lot of people didn't think they were going to get the dragons back, so they bought the new one. Some people think that the developers waited until they were sure enough people bought the new reworked dragon, just so they could have a profit and then they could be the heroes and give everyone a reworked dragon. MeepCity started as an innocent hangout game like Club Penguin or Toontown, created by Alex Neutron. Now I have talked quite a bit about this game in the past, so I'll just briefly go over what it's about. In the game, you could customize your own house and play with the pet in the game called a Meep. Meeps were like mascots of the game. MeepCity was seen as a typical Roblox hangout game and it was very popular, peaking at 170,000 concurrent players. MeepCity also had a very weird history with it being hacked on multiple occasions. We actually talked about the hacking incidents from this game in this video here, which you can check out after watching this video. MeepCity's problems began when they added the parties feature. Parties were events players could host in their houses that allowed a bunch of players from around the game to join. Though the concept of letting players host their own parties to socialize with other players sounds like a good idea, it turned out to be a horrible mistake with many inappropriate things happening in these parties. Let's just say Alex Neutron removed beds, poles, and some emotes. However, Roblox players found a way around it, which is horrible since MeepCity is targeted towards young children. Parties were the perfect opportunity for, let's say, much older players to come in. Despite all the terrible things going on with parties, they were the reason MeepCity was still popular. So Alex gave up trying to fix them and blamed the issue on Roblox moderation instead. Parties weren't removed until Roblox got involved and banned the game, forcing Alex to remove the party feature completely. Condo Games. Condo Games are the worst games on Roblox. They only exist for people to do a lot of very inappropriate things with other players. Condo games are a big reason why Roblox was always on the news for endangering children. Though condo games are difficult to find, that doesn't stop someone from accidentally stumbling upon one. At least for MeepCity, it wasn't intentional, but condo games do it on purpose. A lot of times they would even mask themselves as different games to lure players in. And just remember, Roblox is effectively a kid's game, and condo games do not serve any purpose on Roblox. They are also against Roblox terms of service, duh, and are mostly banned before they can do too much harm, but that doesn't stop people from making one and advertising it to other people. Condo games are considered to be the most disturbing games on Roblox. Players usually encounter them in Discord servers where either a friend will send them the link, or there could be an entire Discord server that exists to constantly re-upload these games. And I'm going to say this once from the bottom of my heart as the person who's voicing over this: do not play condo games, please. They're a waste of your life and you are just going to be absolutely traumatized. Please do not get anybody to play these games or anything like that. Do not touch condo games. If you find any condo games, just report them to Roblox. The Hood started off as a roleplay game where people can commit crimes or stop crimes. There are no rules, meaning players can do whatever they want. Even though it started as a roleplay game, it has turned into an extremely toxic action-based game where all players do is cause chaos. The game has also been infested with hackers over time due to the lack of updates. It has also turned into a slender and online data hangout game. The game's toxic environment and lack of updates caused it to lose players until Flamingo's junk bot raid. This raid gave the game over 150,000 players and revived the game, though that just led to even more toxicity. Roleplaying doesn't exist in The Hood anymore. Since there's no rules, that means there are no rules to break. Modern day roleplay games that are similar to The Hood all make sure to include permanent deaths and no random killing to prevent their game from turning into The Hood. According to the community, this game has the second most toxic player base out of any other game on Roblox. You could join the game for the first time and get spawn killed in only 3 minutes. Royale High is a fantasy roleplay game set in a high school. There are various different activities you can participate in, and each class has its own minigames you can be a part of. The game was one of the most popular games on Roblox, peaking at 340,000 players and even being nominated for Game of the Year in 2021. Royale High at its core is a roleplay game, so when that aspect of the game became neglected, players started leaving. Royale High's downfall began when the developers would always tease a new campus for players to go to. When the campus was added, it looked good aesthetically, but it didn't play well. The gameplay was also very limited and caused many players to move on to different roleplay games. The game became less about roleplay and more about getting diamonds. Diamond inflation made everything in the game extremely expensive and scared away any new players from the game. The developers also distanced themselves from the community, and a lot of them left Royale High completely. The community has also become extremely toxic. Remember when I said The Hood's player base was the second most toxic? Royale High is the first. Royale High's community on both the game and the internet has been filled with bullying, harassment, and even death threats. Part of the reason why a lot of the developers left was because of the insane amount of harassment and toxicity they were getting from their own players. Toilet Tower Defense is a skibbity toilet themed tower defense game. It was also the most popular non-animated tower defense game on Roblox, peaking at 500,000 players. In Toilet Tower Defense, players spawn in a lobby and they can summon to get towers. After they have those towers, they then go into a round and the tower defense part of the game begins. Toilet Tower Defense is disliked by many because of its lack of quality and scummy pay-to-win practices. Toilet Tower Defense was extremely low quality and it only got popular because it was skibbity toilet, according to the community. Roblox players hated how games like Tower Defense Simulator could barely average 10k, while Toilet Tower Defense was averaging 100 to 300k. The game represents everything wrong with tower defense games. It's RNG based and low quality. It is also very pay to win, with towers that you can only get with Robux that are much better than regular towers. These pay to win towers make the trading in the game even worse, as it creates the opportunity for people to try and buy these exclusive towers off platform, allowing a lot of people to get scammed. Especially since the game's player base is also young children. Souls RNG is a game where players stand still and push the roll button to roll for auras. The game is pretty simple, maybe too simple to some. Lots of people believe that Souls RNG is barely even considered to be a game. You click a button, walk away, and that's the game. It would be fine if the game wasn't that popular, if people realized how effortless it is and ignored it. However, Souls RNG peaked at 200,000 concurrent players. And it did spike the popularity of the RNG trend, a trend hated even more than simulators. Some might argue that the auras didn't do anything, but they did add abilities to it, so I guess you could say that they do something. And the auras didn't really look that bad, but that could just be me being biased considering the fact that I did make videos about Souls RNG before. But once again, they're just auras. Roblox already had a problem with people thinking low effort games make a lot of money really fast. Going into the game, you will see almost everyone in the server standing still because they aren't even at their computer. And there were a lot of things going on in Souls RNG with lots of controversy, including the whole thing with one of their community managers being a, let's just say, really bad person. And also the developers slacking on updates that they promised before. For example, back in the Era 8 update, the developers promised many things such as all the auras being reworked and even adding multiple worlds. They also wanted to expand more on just being an RNG game by adding in certain mechanics like PvP. Unfortunately, it didn't intrigue a lot of the players and lots of people kind of disregarded it, but they are still trying to work at it, so hopefully it works out. If you guys have any other games that I may have missed, please let me know in the comments as I can make a part 2 if you guys send in enough games. Let me know what you guys also thought about this video, and if you want to be part of the discussion, be sure to join the Discord in the description. You can watch our last video here, and you can subscribe right here. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you here in the next one.